Hello, everybody. It is that time of the week. Once again, we are here with some more Misfits Racing League action around the Vietnamese Grand Prix for the Americas division. My name is Mikhail, and joining me is my lovely co-commentator, Stars, my fellow countryman, Stars. How are you doing this evening, mate?
Macau, hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen, mate. I am doing amazing. Looking forward to the streets of Hanoi and what it has to deliver for us. I can tell you that much. Looking forward to it, my friend.
Yeah, so now you can see the circuit on your screen right now. 5.6 kilometers, 3.4 miles, 23 turns, and Stars. There are some very, very close walls around here, isn't there?
Yes, very much so. It's a street circuit. It's probably one of the trickiest ones on the calendar. There is no room for error today, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a race of nutrition. Who can stay out of them? That's for sure.
Yes, definitely going to be a large challenge for all of these drivers on this grid. We'll just have a quick look at the calendar. So we've been through the first two rounds of Australia and Bahrain. After Vietnam, we head to China, then Zandvoort in the Netherlands, Spain, Monaco, Baku, Canada, France, Austria, Britain, Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Russia, Japan, and then USA, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi to finish off the season in June. So long way to go for all these races, but very, very exciting nonetheless. And once again, a big thank you to our partners, Next Level Racing, exclamation mark NLR in the chat. They have some great sim rigs for you to check out there. And now, before we get things underway, let's have a quick look at the standings and who will be driving on this grid. So Becky B, the clear favorite in this championship so far, 51 points, 2 race wins under his belt, as well as a fastest lap point in Bahrain last week. Unfortunately, I do believe he will be missing this event, which is very unfortunate for the Williams guys. So we'll have a couple of reserves in the lobby as well. But Becky B leading the championship with a convincing 51 points to S King in the AlphaTauri with 36 in in that AlphaTauri. Rhapsody in third place currently for the Mercedes crew with 21 points, and then BTFU in the second AlphaTauri rounds off the top four. Then we have Aphrodite and Yamamoto tied at the moment on 14 points after the first two rounds. So a very close scrap between those two. Maxime B, Angel, Axis, and Tactical Logic will round off the top 10, and of course Williams leading the the Constructors' Championship. And Stars, I believe with that, we are only just a few moments away from getting the racing action underway.
Yes, we have got confirmation. Very close to the start of this evening's race. But yeah, like you just quickly mentioned, as we do have a quick second, just want to point out that, like you said, Becky B is missing this week's race, so it is up for grabs for the championship at the moment to take it into the next round by S King. S King needs a good result. He needs to make the most of Becky B not being here. Needs to put in a good performance, stay out of those walls, and I think he could potentially retake P1.
Yeah, it certainly is a massive opportunity for both of the AlphaTaurs actually. BTFU also running up there towards the pointy end of the grid. Just as a driver, Stars, what mindset do you need to have coming into this race, knowing that your championship rival is, down and out, they're not going to be scoring any points? Is it all about just gunning for that win to try to close the gap as much as you can, or even take the lead, or is it just about making sure that you actually finish this race and get a couple of points in that gap?
For me personally, Macau, I think it is more of a mindset that you want to take into it that, right, my championship rival isn't here, the pressure's off. I just need to race. That's all I need to do. I don't need to overextend. I don't need to push. I don't need to really try and throw the car around the track. I just need to enjoy myself, have a good time, keep it clean, and finish the race. Points are points. At the end of the day, it really mounts up. If Becky B misses a few other races coming up in the season, I mean, there's plenty more points on for grabs as well, but he just needs to finish the race. That is the most important thing he needs to do.
Yeah, okay. So just having we're just loading into lobby now. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, welcome to the start of Misfits Racing League round number 3 for the Americas division. It is of course the Vietnamese Grand Prix. My name is Mikhail, and joining me is my fellow countryman Stars, both of us here from the land down under. on or this Wednesday afternoon for us, but Tuesday evening for all of you there in the States. And we have 18 drivers on this grid at the moment as we just get things set up, and a clear skies for qualifying stars by the looks of things.
Yes, makes it a lot safer for the drivers out there. That's for sure. They can push in qualifying and have some fun on those low fuel loads. Be interesting to see what the weather report is though for the race. Obviously, can rain in Vietnam, not like Bahrain last week. But the one thing that I do want to mention, which I do believe will be a lot different than last week, is Bahrain. Very close qualifying. I believe the top 8 were separated by 8/10. And I mean, if you're just going off something, you look at Tier 3, and Tier 3 was, I mean, there was a lot of gaps in the field there. So I think this is going to be a very spread out field. I think it's going to be realistically the best of the best up front. And then the people who are really who are struggling for pace around here are going to be a mile off. But we do have 19 drivers tonight, as somebody has joined the session. And I do believe it's going to be a dry but cloudy race. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, so thankfully, I guess for all these drivers on this grid, no rain to throw a spanner in the works. Just me, I would hate driving around this track in the rain. It's hard enough in the dry as is, Stars. You and I both know that. In the rain, it's a completely different beast, completely different. But it will be Alex Yamamoto in that Williams, with you know, Becky B, his teammate, not in attendance. They actually have a Cedarus, if I'm saying that right, in the other Williams seat in a reserve capacity this evening. But Yamamoto will be the first one out on track to set a flying lap, and there's actually quite a few cars behind him as well. I believe that's is Astrolite, maybe? Yeah, that's Astrolite and Cappy in the Renault and Red Bull, respectively, right behind him. But we'll ride back on board with Yamamoto to take us around a lap once he starts this flying lap here. 18 minutes of qualifying. We'll talk a little bit about the strategy just before, as Yama is readying up. Are we expecting many people to start on the mediums in this race, Stars?
I definitely think it's the optimal strategy, but I don't believe so, no.
Alright, well here we go. We're going to ride on board now with Yamamoto as he starts the first flying lap of the session here in Hanoi, the Vietnamese Grand Prix, down into turn 1, second gear, short shifting up to third, being careful over those curbings. Those curves are very, very high, and then you come through the first roundabout of turns 2 and 3. He does have a Ferrari of Strifium there in the way. Luckily, he gets off track. Doesn't really seem to cost the Williams driver too much, and then you have the first of the long DRS zones now heading into turn 6. I believe it is officially, looking for the 100-meter board on the left-hand side, taking all of the curbs. You can really attack those curbs there for turns 6 and 7 now through long left-hander of turn 8 into the little sweeping right of 9. And this is probably the most important exit on the entire track, Stars, as it sets you up for this long back straight. 8th gear reaching almost 335 kilometers an hour, maybe. DRS wide open. Yes, he does. He reaches even 336, I see on the speedometer there. And then hard on the brakes for the hairpin of turn 11. Turn 12, a little left-hand king, not really a proper corner, but then you head into the very, very technical sector 3. That starts off with this 90-degree right-hander third gear, and then you just have the S section with close walls either side, and this section of track is absolutely nerve-wracking. You have to be completely on the edge. This is where all the time is in qualifying. You can see Yama there a little bit cautious through the section on this first lap. Of course, the track isn't quite rubbered in yet. Might be a little bit slippery out there, but through the penultimate corner and now the final corner now. Final corner also a very, very difficult one to get right. It'll be a 1 minute 33.9 to start us off. And that is a lap around the streets of Hanoi, Stars.
Yeah, it is. Just on board with Cappy. Very reserved lap here. Don't expect it to challenge. Yeah, 135.5 there. Aphrodite did unfortunately invalidate his lap as well. So
Zamas coming across the line with a 1 minute 34.8. Sejos, on the other hand, going 7/10 faster than Zamas in that McLaren with a 1 minute 34.150. So the field already quite spread out here, and Rhapsody in that Mercedes will take provisional pole thus far with a 1 minute 33.552. So not bad times from these drivers, but I know for a fact that all these guys can go a lot faster.
yeah, 100% there, Macau. The top two there have put in some good banking laps. That is very, very well done. But the people like Lakino and Cappy, Holtz, as you can see coming through now, the 135s, mid to high 35s. they've got a lot of room to improve there. So something that they're going to be wanting to do. Maybe they just wanted to set in a lap just to put something on the board, as we've got BTFU, who sets a lap of 135.3 on the medium. So, I mean, not bad at all. It's a good banker for the mediums, that's for sure. So,
yeah, not a bad time by any stretch of the imagination. Max Senna now in, I believe, his first race for the Americas division this season in that Red Bull car. Coming across the line there with a 1 minute 34.8. That's good enough for 6th place at the moment. But as we were saying in the pre-show stars, we expected some larger gaps compared to last week, and oh boy do we have some larger gaps. But that midfield between Tom Hawk, Xanis and Max Senna, that's still very, very tight in that, mid to high range in the 1 minute 34s. So, and then you can't really forget about Cedarus in that Williams reserve, right behind them with a 35.006 as his first lap. So a very, very competitive grid, but still 4/10 at the top there between Rhapsody and Yama. Surely the Mercedes driver is going to be feeling good about that one.
Yeah, he's going to be 100% feeling good for that one. Oh, great banker by him there. Maxime B actually does a 134.1, but loses ERS through turn 22, so he needs to do a bit of conserving, I believe, on his next lap there. Otherwise, he's just not going to put that time into battle those top 2 guys, but still not a bad lap for a banker. Some idiot was on a flyer, unfortunately invalidated though, so I actually think he's running again on the same set. So I know he's pulled out of it. Never mind.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the ERS stars, because Vietnam is one of those tracks where if you just leave it in hot lap the whole time, you actually run out fairly early in the lap. I think is from my testing, if you keep it in hot lap the entire lap, you run out of deployment around the exit of turn 21, which is the end of that S section. We're just riding on board with Aphrodite now, so he's coming through turn 20 here, this left-hander, turn 21 right here. So about where this runner is right now is about where you run out of battery if you keep it in hot lap. So what do you do as a driver if you want that extra bit of power through the last 2 corners?
Effectively, Macau, you basically want to be turning off your ERS deployment through turn 6, through turn 7, through turn 8, and trying to put it on as early as you can as you basically put the foot to the pedal through turn 9, getting ready for the second DRS straight, leading up to turn 10. Then also at the hairpin of turn 11, you don't need it there as well. So those 2 areas of the track definitely help and can effectively boost you to the line with the ERS. If you are a bit heavy-footed and you do have, or you have pressed the accelerator a bit too much, you will lose it a little bit beforehand. So it always goes off your deployment input as well. So the harder the drivers put the foot to the floor, the quicker they will go through the ERS.
Yeah, we're just looking at Aphrodite as he is completing his first flying lap of the session. We actually have the first retirement in the session. That is the racing point of Mark Speed, who had an issue at the start of Sector 3 around turns 15 and 16, I do believe they are officially. But the Renault driver Aphrodite looking to impress, coming through the end of Sector 2 now. It's a purple Sector 2 apparently. Apparently he also had a purple Sector 1, so it looks like a pretty good lap. But he actually runs wide at the exit of 13, and that's going to be the lap completely done and dusted. So we'll see who that behind him is. I believe that'd be C-Joss. Right on board with the Haas of Jay Fasai as he makes his way through Sector 3 on the medium combat tyre size. So quite a few drivers, well, I say quite a few, but only 2. But there's still a couple of drivers who are opting to do their first run on the mediums, which certainly is an interesting choice to see if they're running out of deployment just before the last corner. But what's the time going to be? DRS wide open as he comes across the line. It's going to be a 36.4, which is good enough for 14. So he beats Mark's speed, but unfortunately that's about all at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's going to be doing another run on the soft set. I think the faster drivers in the field, they would probably do a medium run about now. The track's rubbed in a little bit. Just put something on the board. They can, at this rate, I think they could probably do a BTF you did and actually probably sneak into the 34s, which might not set him up for a bad start. But yeah, I think most of the drivers will be opting to start on those soft tyres.
Rhapsody now in that Mercedes, currently on provisional pole with a 1 minute 33.552, is now making his way into the tight hairpin. Apex speed of below 60 kilometers an hour, which I believe, if I do my conversion right, is about 40 miles. So a very, very slow corner for these F1 cars. He's actually down on his time by nearly a tenth, but it's still apparently a purple sector too. So we'll see what the Brazilian is able to do in the final sector of the lap. I think he's actually completely aborted at Stars, so he won't be improving on that time just yet.
No.
See who else is on a flyer. Yamamoto actually is also on a flying lap, making his way now through the hairpin as well. He is
Yes, he is.
4 tenths behind, heading into sector 3 Stars.
Is indeed. So he is up on his time, so that's probably we're still not going to put him on provisional pole at the moment. See how he goes through probably the trickiest section of the lap here. Does do that quite nicely. Hugs the wall in as tight as he physically can. Does ride over that curve a little bit. Be careful though not to push it too far. It does hold it very nice and snug through turn 21 through turn 22 there early on the power. As you can see, slightly lifts there for turn 23. On it again. DRS wide open. Is it improvement? It is by 2 tenths. He stays, well, he actually loses a spot because Sejos has put in a blistering lap there of a 133.6, and he has lost another spot by Cedras, I believe that's how you say it, of a 33.6. So an improvement by Yamamoto, but not enough. He is losing spots. So
yeah, all these drivers now starting to put in the more representative lap times there. It's actually getting quite close at the top of the field there. Only a tenth and a half separating the top 4 at the moment. And then you have a bit of a gap back to Maxime B, who I believe
is on a lap.
Is on a lap, that's right. And he's coming up to a slow-moving McLaren. Could this be a tow, Stars?
I hope so. I hope they've worked it out quite nicely. It looks like they have. Here it is in full flight action there. Does it help him a little bit? It still doesn't get up to a max speed of what we were seeing on some of the other drivers there, so he might be going for more of a stable setup, not so much downforce there. But he wasn't turning off his ERS through turn 6, turn 7, turn 8, turn 9. Split is awesome though, up by 6 tenths here, so there's still going to be a good lap, but I think he's going to lose ERS towards the latter end of the lap, so we will stay on board with him. He is going through probably, like I said, these trickiest part of the track there. Does kind of miss the apex a little bit, does run a little bit too wide there, but does cut the corner very, very nicely there for turn 21. Turn 22 goes to he is out of ERS. That is not going to give him the boost that he needs through the last couple of corners there. ERS wide open, still going to improve it by 7 tenths. He goes pole, Mikhail, 33.4. What a lap. Never mind what I was saying. Well done, sir.
Maybe you know something that you don't. Stars, that is a fairly quick lap time, not gonna lie, but it is, and there's still time left for it. We saw him miss the apex of, I believe it's turn 18, 19,
yes.
Something like that. We saw him miss an apex there in the S's. So there is still time to find for all of these drivers now. Oh, and I think if someone's found it, S King now improves to provisional pole with a 1 minute 33.209, and that's exactly what we love to see there. The times just keep coming down. Will we see any of these drivers enter the 32 Stars? I think pretty sure some idiot is more than capable of doing it. He's actually on a lap right now, so we'll hop on board with him. Never mind, he's not. We'll still have a quick gander at the racing point, but yeah, going back to my question, do you think we'll see anyone break into the 1 minute 32s in this session, Stars?
If some idiot pulls the lap together, yes. Apart from that, no. These guys, I don't think, have got the overall speed for those 1 minute 32s. It's very, very hard to do. So it's got to be the absolute perfect lap, and you do need a bit of luck. You need no one in your way, and then you need someone in your way on the straight. So I don't believe so. No. Apart from some idiot, of course. So.
Yeah, some idiot. Very, very fast. Very, very talented driver. Going all the way from 20th to 3rd in the last week's event, and he's been dubbed by the community as the leader of the Pirates. So if you want the context of that one, !Discord, it's all there for you. But yeah, it's just a nice running game that we have here in the MRL. Pirates trying to steal points from all of these teams, and some idiot, well, he is a very, very fast Pirate at that. But now riding on board with the Mercedes driver Rhapsody once again as he makes his way through Sector 3 now on his next attempt at a flying lap. We only have 3.5 minutes left in the session, Stars, so this could be his final run for this evening. Coming through the last 2 corners now, he's got McSenna in the way. Is that going to really compromise? He gets a very nice turn in at the last corner, but it isn't enough. It is not enough. 6 milliseconds between him and S King, and he will have to settle for the 2nd place spot at best.
Yeah, he's. I think he'll still be happy with that. He's obviously shown great performance in his qualifying recently, so I think he can think he can improve. Well, he can't improve in qualifying anymore, but I think he'll still be very happy with that. Just on board with Striffim at the moment as he goes through the latter ends of Sector 3. Does run very wide there, which does compromise his turn 21. Misses the apex of turn 22. Very slidey on the throttle there. Lifts slightly. DRS wide open. Will be an improvement, but not by a lot. 5/10. Obviously, that is a lot, but it only pushes him by 1 spot. Just really quickly, Mikhail, as we do have a quick second here, watch out for Zamis. I have got the inside scoop here that Zamis is very quick during the race and he doesn't make very many mistakes. So even though he's in P8 at the moment, he can still improve as he is on an outlap. So just keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we'll keep lots of eyes on him now as he sets up for his final attempt here in qualifying. Currently sitting 8th, as you said, with a 1 minute 34.3, but a very, very experienced driver and has been around a long time. Of course, he is the founder of the Misfits community and by extension, the Misfits Racing League as a whole. So coming through the first couple of corners now, Lockhino there coming out of the pits does very, very well to stay out of the Ferrari's way. It's looking pretty fast. He keeps the minimum speed up through that entire section, Stars. So he's done well in the first sector. Let's see how he goes in the last 2 sectors for that matter. Up 2/10.
Split's awesome. Well done. Yeah, it's looking very good there. He doesn't cut the curb of 7 there, which I tend to normally do, but it's all about the exit out of turn 8, turn 9 there. Does that quite nicely there. Could go a little bit early, but still, it certainly wasn't a bad job there, going along probably one of the most longest Formula 1 straights on the calendar there. Does get a little bit of a tow by Sidras. Everyone moves out of the way for him quite nicely. Goes up to about 335 clicks an hour into the heavy braking zone of turn 11. Does slightly tap the inside of turn 11. Oh, he gets very slidey. That's a big snap. Good save though. We'll lose a bit of time. Still think it's going to be improvement. Yep, by 2:10. So he stays about the same. So it's not looking like a bad lap so far, Mick.
Yeah, but he needs a lot more time if he wants to jump the Williams of Yamamoto. Currently, it would keep him in that 8th place, and you can see him really struggling on those curbs. The car just really, really stepping out on them. Lots of turn-in, which is what you need for a fast car, but it also makes it quite hard to handle. We're coming through the last corner now. Oh, he has to brake for that one, and he has a downshift to 4th. It will be an improvement by 4/10, but it's not quite enough to jump him out many positions. And with 30 seconds left in the session, that will be his final attempt done and dusted.
Yeah, that's right. Talking about Yamamoto, he is just coming through the final sector now. This will be his last lap. I didn't see the split. I don't know if he's up. I don't know if he's down. He's looking quite nice so far, though. Let's see what he does as he goes round turn 22 into turn 23 again. Slightly lifts. Early on the power it was quickly as you can. Will it be improvement? It is not. Does not improve. Stays P7 currently.
Well, the checkered flag has now dropped. I believe it's one of the Haas's who will be next across. No, it won't, and neither will the Mercedes. So it will be Aphrodite for his only run in this session. He'll be the first to complete his one and only flying lap of the session. The checkered flag has dropped, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. So ladies and gentlemen, Aphrodite coming through the final corner now. DRS wide open, runs out of battery to the point. What's the time going to be for the Renault? It's going to be a 1 minute 34.827. That is good enough for P12 at the moment. We now run on board with somebody, and somebody has actually invalidated his lap. So, like last week, he will be starting from the very back of this grid, and will need to carve his way through the field.
Yeah, both Tauris have invalidated their final run, Mikau, so they are done and dusted. It's in the hands of Maxime B to try and take over provisional pole.
Yeah, we're just going to have a quick look at Cedrus, and he actually aborts the lap, heading into the pits there. So Maxime B cutting too much of 21, and that's going to be his lap over as well. Everyone seems to be choking in this final stage of the qualifying.
Joss as well, choked. I think that's it. I can't see anyone else battling for the top there. Because everyone's pulling in. Everyone has pretty much invalidated.
Yeah, that's, ladies and gentlemen, that is your grid for the 3rd round of Misfits Racing League America's Division. S-King with a great lap, enough for pole position by 6 milliseconds, Stars. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, especially at a circuit like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought there was going to be some big gaps, but obviously not for the front runners. Obviously, it does drop off a little bit the further you go down, but very, very good qualifying by the Towery. I do believe he was. Was he on pole? No, he was on. It was P2, wasn't he, last week? Was he pole? I don't know. But anyway, he's had a great performance once again. Still, the Towery guys will be happy. Disappointed that they both invalidated their final run. Could have potentially gone quicker, maybe into the 32s, but as I said, I didn't believe anyone had the pace, that raw power to be able to do that. So,
Well, S King, the Chilean, once again in that top spot. I do believe he was on pole in Bahrain, but I could be wrong there. But we'll assume he was. He was front row, I definitely know that one. But yeah, S King on pole position with a 1 minute 33.209, just 6 milliseconds ahead of Rhapsody, the Brazilian, in that Mercedes with a 0.215. Then Maxime B for McLaren, the Canadian there, with a 33.447. And BTFU and the other AlphaTauri will start fourth alongside Maxime. Sejos in fifth in the other McLaren. The reserve of Cedarus for the Williams will line up alongside his teammate on that fourth row, I believe. Oh no, I can't count. Cedarus and Yamamoto next to each other. They're both Williams cars with a solid result. Zamis, Mexena, and Tomahawk will round off the top 10, and we'll go through the rest of the grid on the formation lap. But for these back 10 stars, strategy. What are we thinking?
yes, strategy, very important around here. Why is it important, Macau? Safety cars, ladies and gentlemen, safety cars. That is what makes it important. You don't know when it's coming out. Honestly, you have no idea. Also, wing damage, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 6, turn 11, wing damage. That's another thing as well. These drivers who are starting outside the 10, who might opt to go for something a little bit, untoward, maybe starting on the hards, finishing on the softs. It can be a one stop, can be done if there's no safety cars. Very difficult though. Tyre wear is important. So at the end of the day, if I was starting outside the 10, I would probably go mediums because then that still allows me to go into hards if I do break my wing especially on the first lap there. You don't know if people are going to get wing damage and in no safety cars, so I'll just go the safe option so I can go on to something safe towards the end and maybe just come in for a quick pit stop later on, maybe to put on some softs if we do get a later on safety car. But yes, very, very difficult strategy here. Obviously, we can see the tyres that people have selected. No one has opted for the hards. I think it's a safe play. It's gonna be interesting to see how it folds out. Obviously, some idiot last to third last week. See what he can do again. Be a lot harder this week though. It's very, very tricky to pass here. You've only got one shot on the DRS straights, well, on the straight, I should say. Realistically, going into turn 6, turn 11. Turn 1 is an option, but realistically, it's very, very tricky to pass. So we'll see how he goes. Keep an eye on him.
Yes, we will go through the back 10 on this grid. So Jay Fasai for the Haas squad on those medium compound tyres in 11th. Astrodite in the second Renault in 12th. Cappy 13th on the softs. One of the two soft runners in the back for the back 10. Valkino in 14th. Striffium in 15th. Holtz in 16th. Gorziak 17th. And then the two Racing Points will round off this grid in 18th and 19th. And as we're saying, stars, yes, some idiot definitely one to watch out for. It can be simple to pass. You do have that long back straight between turns 9 and 11. But anywhere else, it can be quite difficult. You don't really want to pass at turn 6 because then you're just giving your opponent that DRS down the even longer straight that we just mentioned there. But yeah, 28 laps here. Safety cars, well, very, very likely. We didn't really see any in the Tier 3 race a few hours ago. But with close walls like this, turn 1, it's going to be a real test of survival in this one.
That's it. Stamina is key on this one. Finish the race. Stay out the walls. Keep clean. That is your ultimate goal here. If you do well from that, then you're just going to genuinely have a good finishing position. But as we get the final couple cars gridding up, Macau, we are here. Streets of Hanoi. Let's do it. Vietnam, Americas, let's go.
Yes, if you're just joining us, this is our coverage of the Misfits Racing League Season 4 Americas Division, round number 3, here in Vietnam. Around the streets of Hanoi, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 lights ahead of the drivers. Here for round number 3, it's lights out, and away we go. Looks like it's been a pretty decent start so far. Lots of jostling for position already. We can see that the Mercedes are is looking up the inside of S King. Maxime B trying to make his way around the outside of turn 1. There's already been a 3-second time for corner cutting. There's a yellow flag. I think someone's around. I think it's one of the Haas's. I think it's Jay Fasai there. But if we just go down this grid a little bit further, looks like everyone seems to have navigated the first roundabout pretty okay. There's actually, as I said, another spin. That's Max Senna in the Red Bull. He's around at the exit of turn 3. So a very, very bad start from those two guys there. But Zamis with the move. Oh, he's spun. He spun and hit the wall. The Ferrari Zamis has spun and hit the wall. He's made a mistake there trying to go for a move into turn 6, and that has compromised his run immensely. But now these guys all trying to make their way down the long back straight. So it will be S King leading, and then Rhapsody, Maxime B, Cetus has actually had an amazing start up into 4th place there. Cejos down into 5th, Yammer in 6th, BTFU in 7th. Not a great start from him in that AlphaTauri. Tomahawk in 8th for the Renault squad, Cappy in 9th, and Astrodite in 10th.
Yeah, what a start there by the front runners. Pretty clean up the front there. Unfortunately, the collision at turn 1 there was Max Senna. Max Senna misses braking zone and went very hard into 2 cars there, causing him to lose damage. And obviously, Zamis as well got wing damage as well, so they will be coming into the pits this lap.
And now currently riding on board with the Red Bull of Cappy, currently in 9th place as he's trying to eye his way, eye in at that Renault of Tomahawk TV. And all these guys just take it nice and easy, just warming up to the circuit. It is overcast. The track temperature has dropped a bit since qualifying. So these guys will have to be careful around that 3rd sector, but they seem to have navigated it okay. And one of the drivers we actually haven't talked about a lot this race yet is Submitted. He's made his way up into 11th already at the end of the 1st lap. So he's looking in a very strong, very strong position. I don't know how he avoided all those cars there at turn, well, in the first 2 sectors of the lap, but he has done very well. But S King has a pretty decent lead over Rhapsody already. 1.1 seconds is the gap, as well as Rhapsody back to Maxime B. So both of those guys already breaking out of that DRS zone, and it looks like Maxime actually is going to be under attack very shortly from Cedarus in that battle for the final podium place. Overtake on getting that slipstream. No DRS yet, of course, as we are only on the 2nd lap, despite what the timing tower says on the left-hand side of your screens. And it looks like the Williams driver isn't going to quite make the move just yet. He's going to wait for that DRS, and no point risking it this early in the race, Stars.
Yeah, no, like we said before, racer stamina, no need to go putting your car into a place that it doesn't belong. Unfortunately, Zamis there went for something, and yeah, now he's in a world of hurt.
Yeah, Zamis there in that...
oh, Maxime B hits turn 18. Sorry, turn 16, my bad.
He's missing that right end blade. Is he going to come into the pits? No, he opts to stay out. And this could be huge news for these front two.
Yes, indeed, because no one's going to be able to get past here. It's not massive damage, but it's enough to really slow.
Oh,
Citrus goes into the pit lane wall on the main straight. He has lost big wing as well. So yeah, as we're quickly saying, just to get back on board, that I think that he's going to slow everyone up, but he's going to try and push out here. He's going to try and push to the first pit stop because he doesn't want to come in. He doesn't want to ruin his strategy too much. But these front two are going to have a field day up front. They're going to run away with this, Mikhail.
And also is going to be a test of who can pass the Williams down there in 8th place the fastest, because he is missing not just an end place does, but he's also missing quite a few elements. That looks like a red class of damage there on that front left.
Yeah, it does indeed. He's going to be struggling, especially through Sector 3. Sector 2 won't be too bad. He will lose a bit of time on the straight, but won't be too bad. I'm interested to see this McLaren battle, because he's got DRS here. I think Maxime's just going to let him through. Yeah, team orders there. I've got damage. You go through. I'll hold up. You push. So yeah, well done by those guys. Maxime will just probably keep the guys right behind. Let's see Josh just try and catch up to these front two as best as he can. But he has run very deep, and now Maxime kind of needs to pass him. Very poor exit there by Cejos.
Yammer as well. It's side by side between these two, heading into the 3rd sector. You don't see these guys going too wide very often, and Yammer actually makes the move around the outside of 13. Wow, what a move.
Oh, a tyre, Cedras. He's lost a tyre going out of turn 11. Surely this is going to be a safety car. He's retired on the track, for God's sake. He's out. His race is over. DNF.
And no safety car as of yet. We tried to get a little bit of a look there, but unfortunately we're unable to get that angle. And it looks like race control have said, nope, that's fine. It's near enough to a marshal post. It's out of the way. So racing continues. Just a local yellow there at the start of Sector 3. But we now are on the start of lap 4 in this race. S-King, currently your race leader. Rhapsody has actually been able to close that gap to 9:10, so he is now within that DRS range, but it's a 6-second gap back to Maxime, and he looks under threat from Yama already, and that's going to be an easy pass for the Williams.
Yeah, done and dusted before turn 6. I don't think Maxime's going to be able to get him on the second DRS straight, that's for sure. But now Maxime's holding up C-Joss and BTFU. Tomahawk's now getting into the battle as well. So these front two have blitz away 6 seconds on it already. So yeah, that's how much you lose in time when you go around here with a probably, I would say that's an orange wing, I dare say.
Yeah, it's certainly enough to see physical damage, but BTFU actually on the two McLarens, there's a tap! There's a tap, BTFU is running to the back of Maxime, there's even more damage. And Maxime has to brake early, and BTFU just wasn't expecting it. Now BTFU's got damage as well.
Oh dear. This isn't what you want to see, is it?
No, as Alpha Tower representatives, both you and I, that's exactly what we don't want to see. But it just wasn't really unfortunate there for BTFU there, because Maxime had to brake early. He had C-Joss on the right-hand side, and that corner is hard enough to make with the racing line. Just isn't really enough rotation in these Formula 1 cars. And yes, BTFU diving straight into the pits. Probably going to put on a set of mediums to do a medium soft from here, Stars?
Yeah, I think that's the hard play. Hard's a very tricky round here, that's for sure. So yeah, I'd hope he goes onto the mediums. Fingers crossed he does anyway for you and I.
Yes.
As some idiot. P8. He's clawed right back. He's all over Cappy here. I think he's going to get the move done going to turn 6. He is, because obviously those soft tyres are getting very worn. As he goes for the move into turn 4, don't see that very often. He has actually gotten DRS. So, oh, they touch a little bit. He does get the better exit and DRS wide open. He should get this move done. But look at Aphrodite in the party. He goes on the inside of Cappy, gets a move done. But here we go into the braking area. Looks like Cappy does yield a little bit there. So that is the difference between the soft and the medium tyres going into lap 5, Macau.
Yeah, these soft tyres aren't going to be feeling great as we see Max Speed actually trying to go for a move up the inside of Gorzieg into turn 6. It's the battle for 11th at the moment, Stars. And they're both going very, very slowly. Holtz has to slam on the brakes to avoid running into the two of them. But Gorzieg, he's making his way around. It looks like he doesn't really want the DRS. They're actually going side by side. Who's going to get the DRS? I really don't know at this point. They were so close. It is actually going to be Gorzieg in that Mercedes, getting that rear wing to, to open up. And let's see if he's able to take back the racing point heading into the hard brakes. Turn 11. Does he go for the dive? No. He plays it nice and safe, and Holtz just chilling there at the back. Holtz actually has a lot of wing damage himself as well, Stars, down in 13th.
Yeah, a lot of people are picking up wing damage early on. The curious one I'm thinking about is Maxime. When's Maxime going to pick? Because obviously he doesn't want to compromise doing a full stop. He obviously wants to do a one stop, but he's going to have to push the tyres a fair bit, and obviously the car as well on wing damage. You don't want to get more wing damage to make you go even slower.
I think he's just going to try and hold up Tomahawk and some idiot for as long as he can. Help his teammate C-Joss create a gap. And then he'll pit when Hards can make it to the end, which I believe is from lap 8 onwards. It would still be a stretch from 8, but it's possible.
Yeah, it is possible. Big stretch though. Both
Yeah,
come into the pit.
It's C-Joss. Sorry to just cut you off there. C-Joss has spun it at what it looks like between turns 4 and 5, and he is really, really struggling to try and get that car turned around. And yes, he's actually suffered damage as well on that left-hand side. Oh my goodness, a very, very bad day.
We're watching it too wide through turn 8 and through turn 9, all over the back of Maxime. Aphrodite is in the party. He's got the popcorn at the moment. We go down the long third DRS straight, sorry. So he's going to be some idiot to pick up DRS here, but also Tomahawk gets it as well. So, and Aphrodite has it as well. So both the Renaults are all over the racing point as he goes for a dive on the outside going into turn 11. What's somebody going to leave him room? Does squeeze him out of there a little bit. Does give him space, but forces him onto that ripple strip. He knows he's going to get the better traction there. So very smart play there by some idiot in the racing point. Well done, sir. Now he's on to Maxime. Needs to get the move done on Maxime. Doesn't want to lose too much time to these front runners.
Yes, a very, very nice move there from the Racing Point reserve driver. Of course, somebody very, very experienced, using all of that experience, knowing that the Renault has to yield because you can't really get much grip off on the curb. And now he is right on the back of Maxime B. almost pushing him through the final couple of corners, Stars, and he is going to try and make this move as quickly as he can. With 60% battery, and he loses the rear again out of that last one. We've seen him do it a couple of times now. But Maxime B going up semi-defensive now into the first braking zone of lap 7 for these guys. And somebody's actually going to try and make the move yet again at the inside of turns 2 and 3. Is it going to work this time? Oh my goodness, he's made it work.
It's 2 laps in a row. Well done. So now he's got clean air. He's got better tyre wear. He's got clean air. Obviously, Maxime's probably going to be holding up these guys until at least turn 10. So he might have a little bit. He might be able to create over that 1 second gap over Tomahawk.
Here we go, Stars. A battle for the lead. That's what we want to see. It's going to be Rhapsody looking on that left-hand side, which becomes the inside for the head, and he's going to make that move cleanly past the AlphaTauri of S-King into turn 11.
Deep, though.
Runs a little bit deep, but he's able to hold the lead of the race for now. But S-King certainly isn't done fighting that position. No way.
No, and unfortunately for the Renaults, Maxime actually had DRS on some idiot. So he stayed in with some idiot, and now they're going to be forced to stay behind him through Sector 3, and this is where some idiot's just going to pull away. So very unlucky for the Renaults there. So both Renaults and McLaren's not having a good race, I don't think, so far. They're going to be very frustrated.
Yeah, but it's still a long way to go. S-King actually going to dive into the pits now. So he's going to try the undercut, but I'm curious as to what tyres he's going to go on. Is he going to go for the 2-slot medium soft? Looks like Maxime is going to finally pit and change that wing over. I think he might actually
this is very early. Onto hards.
Onto hards.
So we've got S-King going onto hards here. So he is changing his wing. So he's picked up wing damage as well. So we missed that. He must have picked up a little bit of wing damage. Maybe that's why he pitted early. Who knows?
Yeah, we saw him hit the wall on the stream at the start of Sector 3 in those tight S-bends. But it didn't look like there was any visible damage to that AlphaTauri car, so he must have picked up like lime green or something like that. But now the 2 Renaults now battling it out. Aphrodite with that DRS and on the medium compound tyres, so dare I say, Tomahawk is going to make this fairly simple for his teammate. And so softs
you'd
are
like to think so.
dying.
Yeah, softs are terrible around here. Oh, this isn't exactly what they wanted. So yeah, Aphrodite had to pull right out of that there. So obviously he's going to get DRS. Fingers crossed Tomahawk just moves over the way here. Aphrodite's using a lot of energy. He actually touches the wall going down the straight, but he does get the move done.
That might be a bit concerning. It could be a lime green, because the MFD doesn't always pop up when you just get lime green damage, but you can certainly feel it, and that's an easy like 3/10 in your lap times, just completely out the window. But the Renaults do make the swap.
It is.
They do make the swap there. S-King coming out in 8th place on those hards. And he has a bit of clear air as well. The grid is starting to space itself out a little bit. We see Jay Fasai actually now in this battle for 13th, currently right on the back of Gauzier. Gauzier, those red lights flashing mean that he's under 10% battery in his ERS reserve, and Jay Fasai is just going to say, thank you very much, I'm going to take that place, and you can stay behind.
Yeah, as we'd see Tomahawk come into the pits here, so he's probably going to be changing onto those. He could. Can mediums go from here? It'll be a big stretch. It'll be a very big stretch. I think it's doable. He is going on to mediums. Is going on to mediums. Is changing his wing as well, as we see C-Joss come in as well. Obviously, we know he's going to be changing his wing. So a few drivers coming in now. Obviously, the one thing that we haven't spoken about, Mikau, is undercut is huge here. It is massive, massive undercut here. But obviously, if you go onto those hards, by the end of the race, when the guys like Rhapsody and Yamamoto, who look like they're probably going to go to mediums, it's going to be a massive, massive difference in performance.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see where they come out. S-King now into 7th after C-Joss has made his pit stop. C-Joss has actually also gone onto the hard, so he's going to go to the end of this race. It's actually going to be very, very close there between himself and Gauzier. He's trying to look around the outside on those cold but fresh hards, and he looks like he's gotten it done. But the Mercedes will have DRS as well on those even fresher, well, 3-lap old soft compound tyres. They're going to be stealing a very, very grippy. He's going to look up the inside of turn 6. Massive lock up there from the McLaren, but Gauzier cuts the corner, and that'll be a 3-second time penalty for the Mercedes. So not good at all, but I think with this DRS zone coming up down the long straight, he might be able to make the pass, but C-Joss getting a very, very nice exit there for some some cold cards.
Yeah, 100% there. Just on board really quickly with S-King. I think he's just tapped Lakinio. He's just forced Lakinio into a half spin. Lakinio saves it, thank goodness. I don't know if he's picked up damage by S-King, but I think he's got a bigger issue. He doesn't have DRS, I don't believe, because he was right behind Lakinio. The DRS button came on. He didn't open up his wing. Maybe he can't. This is going to cause an issue. His DRS is not working. Bit of a failure here.
I haven't seen too many failures this game, actually, but I believe it still can happen. Just looking at this battle as well for the time being between Sejos, Gorzieg and Holtz down for 13th, 14th and 15th. Holtz got a pretty decent run on that back straight, but was unable to make the pass just yet on the Mercedes in front of him. But he knows that he has that penalty, so he's probably just going to be trying to save those tyres as much as he can. But unfortunately for us, Stars, this field has really spread itself out. Not really many drivers within that 1 second. Actually, currently it is only Holtz in that within that 1 second gap to Gorzieg ahead of him. So all these drivers sort of finding their pace, finding their rhythm at the moment, and just putting in the laps and well, making sure they don't hit any of the walls.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Don't hit the walls, keep it clean. But we do have one driver who's going to be getting under that DRS, and that's going to be some idiot. He is flying on those mediums now, obviously compared to Yama and Rhapsody. He's closing in the gap massively, but Rhapsody has actually taken another 4 seconds away from Yama, even on those old tyres. So Rhapsody's obviously very quick in this first stint. Don't know if the car is set up for the softs or the mediums, but the front two will definitely be going to mediums if obviously no safety cars come out later on in the race when they pit again. But some idiot now within 5 tenths of Yamamoto. He's going to get this move done and dusted, I think, going into turn 6. I think he's got the raw traction and pace to be able to break away out of turn 8 and turn 9 and still not have Yama behind him. He actually has a poor run, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong here. But anyway, he will get the DRS and probably get the move done into turn 11.
Yeah, while you were going through what was happening at the front, we saw a pass between Holtz and Gorzieg for that 14th place. So the Alfa Romeo driver now up a position. Gorzieg for the Mercedes down 1. And S-King as well is within a DRS range of Cappy. And Cappy is also on those very, very old soft compound tyres. He actually loses the rear out of turn 8. So we'll see. There should be a fairly simple pass for the AlphaTauri.
Some idiot up into second, confirmed, all done and dusted by turn 11.
Yeah, we'll just see now. S-King probably should make the pass here. He sees that overtake DRS, and just look at the speed. Oh my goodness, this extra speed coming out of the AlphaTauri because of that rich mix DRS slipstream. It's actually not completely done yet, squeezing Cappy a bit towards the wall. He actually goes very, very deep. And that's going to allow Cappy to get back through. S-King has to catch the car there to avoid the wall at turn 12. But
I think he tried to squeeze way too much because they actually locked tyres just very, very briefly and gently for a bit, but that could have been very dangerous and ended S-King's race. Done and dusted just there. So as we have Yamamoto who comes into the pits, Rhapsody has come into the pits as well, so that gives some idiot the lead of the race. Rhapsody does go into the mediums. I am 100% positive Yama's going to go into the mediums as well, as we see Aphrodite go into second as well on the same strategy as some idiot.
Now where do they come at in relation to this AlphaTauri? S-King now making the move down the inside of turn 1 on Cappy in the Red Bull, so he has made it clear through. And he is actually, he's closed up a little bit to Rhapsody, but not a lot. And Rhapsody now on those fresh mediums, 4.6 seconds ahead. And
yes,
Yamamoto,
unless Rhapsody makes a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what you want to see. So Rhapsody is looking like he's in a very good spot to take this race win at the moment. But we aren't even halfway through this race yet, Star, so anything can happen.
Yeah, long race still to go. Obviously, we don't know. Like, it is cloudy at the moment. Cody's has sometimes made it cloudy and then given us a bit of rain for an exciting finish as Rhapsody gets within that 1 second of Aphrodite. So I'm assuming a move will be coming on quite quickly as Yamamoto also has DRS on Larkinio. There are 2 close battles, but we also have Max Senna as well closing in on the back of Gorzieg, with Gorzieg still got those red flashing lights, so he is out of ERS. So a couple of battles coming into the play now that all the pit stops are starting to get done, and we're moving into the latter, or the second half of the race, the second phase of the race.
Yeah, Max Senna now eyeing up Gorsieg as well, but we'll jump back on board with the other Mercedes. Well, looking at the other Mercedes, Rhapsody in third. Very, very close to the back of Aphrodite. Those fresh memes providing so much grip stars. DRS overtake. He's going to make the pass into turn 1. I think he is. Down the inside he goes. And that is a very, very easy pass there from the Mercedes. He's now up into second place. 10 seconds behind Some Idiot though. And we know that Some Idiot has a talent for getting the most out of the car on worn tyres. So I would be very, very careful with him. Rhapsody should be able to close the gap a little bit. But it definitely will be interesting to see as Lakino now also getting overtaken by Yamamoto, it would seem, in that battle for 5th at the moment.
Yeah, Rhapsody here, he needs to pull in the gap. He's got fresh tyres, he needs to pull on. If this gap stays as what it is, Some Idiot will win the race with no safety cars because he'll be on a far quicker compounder tyre on probably those softs towards the end. So yeah, this is Rhapsody's time. It's hammer time for the Mercedes. Hopefully for him, he can do the job at hand. As we saw actually Cappy, he went 1 lap longer than Rhapsody and Yamamoto on those soft tyres before he went to the mediums, so he definitely won't have any issues with tyre wear towards the end of the race. Hopefully for him though, there is no safety car towards the end, so he would have just lost track position doing this strategy.
Max Senna and Gorsieg having an exchange now into turn 6. That's the Red Bull now up into 15th place. Gorsieg down into 16th on those aging softs. So we should see him come in fairly soon for the mediums, I would imagine. Yeah, and that's the Red Bull up yet another place. And I think, actually, Gauzy... Oh my goodness, Gauzy's just turned into the wall. Gauzy has hit the wall at the apex of turn 10, trying to find a way past the Red Bull. And now that is a missing right end plate. So very, very unfortunate there for the Mercedes. He's going to have to get that fixed in his next pit stop, which could be sooner rather than later now, it says.
Oh, you would think so. I think it's just time to just go on the mediums now, just get your wing changed. I think it's probably the smart play.
BTFU now looking around the outside of Larkino into turn 3. But Larkino holds it off for the time being through turns 4 and 5. But DRS overtake on now for the AlphaTauri. And that is going to be no contest. You can just see here from the helicopter shot just the amount of speed in that AlphaTauri car as he's trying to make up all the ground that he can towards Yama before he inevitably has to pit again.
Yeah, we do see Gauzy into the pits. He is changing his front wing. He's actually gone onto the softs.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit again now. I'm not too sure what he's thinking. Maybe it could work. Who knows? I don't believe it's going to, though. He's just going to put him down and he's just going to have to pit again. I don't think he's going to close the gap of... well, how far is he? He's 3 seconds behind. He's going to close the gap to Mac, but he's not going to close the gap to Striff before he pits again, that's for sure.
Could it be that he only had one set of mediums? Thinking the softer allocation of tyre means you only have one set of mediums and didn't... I believe he started the race on mediums, so that could very well be the case. It's not like Gauzy to make a blunder like that one. But all these cars currently outside of the 1 second range. We will jump on board, however, with the closest gap at the moment, which is between S-King and Aphrodite. Up in the battle for the podium. Oh my goodness, and S-King, don't scare me like that, please. Oh my goodness. Almost spinning it there on the curb. Does very well to catch a car and keep it out of the wall, but that has put a massive, massive dent into the progress he was making. 2 seconds, to be exact.
Yeah, that's not what you want, especially when everyone's in dead man's land at the moment. We do have 2 guys coming to the pits here. It's Jay Fasai and Max Senna. So they will be pitting. Jay Fasai goes onto the mediums here. I'm assuming Max Senna's...
Yellow flag.
Rob? Oh, is it a Ferrari?
Yeah, that is a Ferrari. It's a Ferrari of Stryfium between turns 22 and 23. It looks like he just got a bit hot coming out of the penultimate corner and has completely spun that car around straight into the wall. And as you can see from the offboards, there is a lot of damage to that Ferrari front wing.
That is what you call a red front wing, ladies and gentlemen. There, very, very fitting that he is driving the Ferrari, as I believe he went past the Ferrari pit wall there. Did get a few looks there from the crew chief, so he's going to be head down right now, coming into the pits and hopefully putting on some quicker tyres to get him to the end.
Yeah, knowing for the Ferrari pit crew, hopefully they actually see the wing damage. But nevertheless, Gauzy Egg making his way past the limping Striffium. They're down in 16th now, is the Mercedes, so very, very nicely done from him. But yeah, lots of struggles, lots of, I'd say, disappointing races for a lot of these drivers, but it still isn't over yet. We still have 13 laps left in this one. If you're just joining us, this is MRL Season 4 action, the Americas Division, round number 3 here in Vietnam. My name is Mikhail, and joining me is Stars. And we are proud to say that we now partnered with Next Level Racing with some great sim rigs, both at the entry level and at the enthusiast level. But now Maxime B making the move past Lakina now, heading into turn 6. And he's gotten that done nice and easily. So that's the McLaren now up into 7th. And that's a couple more points that they wouldn't otherwise acquire. And after Aphrodite submitted and BTFU pit, he might actually be in a contention for a top 5 maybe?
Potentially, yes. If he keeps his front wing and just drives his race and not other people's race, definitely on for a top 5 here. The other thing I just want to quickly mention is Rhapsody has closed in the gap on those. Oh God, and good thing I did talk about that, because we've got some idiot coming to the pits. So I'm assuming he's going to go into the soft tyre. I feel like it's a little bit early for the softs, but he's definitely not going to be going onto the hards, that's for sure. But Rhapsody will retake the lead here. He did close the gap by roughly about 2.6 seconds, so it was good, but it wasn't I don't think it was enough. I think he's going to be still under a fair bit of pressure, as we do see some idiot put on the soft tyres. He goes down into probably 4th by the time he comes out of the pit lane here. So quick rubber, some idiot's going to have a flying fastest lap, so get ready for that one, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
he actually goes into 3rd. He jumps Yama, sorry. So he manages to get that move done. It's probably what he needed to do as well. A bit of clean air now, so he's going to be flying.
Yeah, we also saw Cappy make a pass on Zamis into turn 11. Nice and easy. Did go a bit wide, but Zamis now actually going into the pits for his final stop onto some fresh soft compound tyres. And he has submitted now only 9 seconds. Is he going on softs? No, he's actually going on mediums.
He's going mediums.
Very, very interesting. Softs can easily.
So I did say. I mean, yeah, softs do make it to the end. Tyre wear is going to be really bad, though. It's going to be like I probably say the last 3 laps. There's going to be a massive performance drop. So maybe he just doesn't want to have to deal with that. Maybe he just wants to go for a safer tyre, bring the car home.
That might be what the Ferrari driver is thinking, but I'm not 100% sure. But meanwhile, yes, as you were saying, submitted now. 9 seconds is the gap between himself and Rhapsody. Well, both of them going to the end. S-King as well is also going to the end of this race, but I don't think somebody will have any troubles passing the AlphaTauri. So we'll just have to wait and see. There's actually a yellow flag. I do believe that's the other racing point of Mark Speed. He's had a bit of a collision with the wall, and he's going to go into the pits and get that front wing replaced immediately.
So he just came out, I believe, didn't he? I think he just came out and put soft tyres on, and first lap in he gets wing damage, comes back in.
That's
not great.
That's gotta hurt.
Yep. He just retires in the pit lane. Okay, so obviously it hurt a lot.
Yeah, not what we
Still
like
though,
to see.
not what you want to see.
Yeah, it's
that's exactly right.
It's unfortunate, but nevertheless, we will press on with his teammate for this event. Submitted now in the other racing point. He's already closed that 2-second gap to S-King. Already, there's actually a Red Bull around as well at turn 2. I do believe that would be Cappy, no? It is Cappy. Cappy has had a bit of an issue there. There's somebody now, DRS wide open. He's actually down to 6% battery already, so he's really been using a lot of that energy reserve, but he'll go down the inside of turn 11, up into 2nd place. No real issues there. Now 7 seconds is the gap between himself and Rhapsody, and with 11 laps to go, that is very, very possible, as he's up on his previous best by nearly 2 seconds, Stars. My goodness, those fresh softs are quick.
Yeah, that's right, Macau. He is pushing. He is pushing. That is for sure. He's been given the team orders. It's hammer time. He's going to be setting the fastest flying lap here. That's for sure. I think he's going to catch Rhapsody. It's going to be very interesting though. So we'll stay on board and enjoy the next couple of laps.
And we'll see what that lap time is from some idiot. There it is, a 1 minute 35.904. That is a very, very quick lap time for the race. Why do we say so myself? We're now going to jump back a couple of spots to this battle for 6th place at the moment. Looks like Aphrodite has gotten past Maxime B on the, well, those fresh softs on the Renault. BZFU is coming into the pits now as well, actually, for his final stop, as is Tomahawk. So those two should hold their positions in 7th and 8th. I think Cedros actually might have it there. There's another yellow flag, and that's Cappy still nursing that Red Bull back to the pit lane. So we said it was going to be a race of attrition, and we certainly went wrong. A lot of drivers suffering from wing damage. Actually, Holtz as well going to go get off those 11 lap old soft tyres as well. So not really much happening on track.
No, I think our closest battle is still that P5 battle between Aphrodite and Maxime. Unfortunately, though, it goes back to what I said at the start of the race, Macau. I said, you know, just race your own race, stay out of trouble, and you would just bring the car home. And I'm having a look down the field now. Who started outside the 10? I think probably who we.
That is a massive dive. Yeah, massive dive there from Tomahawk TV on those fresh stops. He's going to get another one as well. Lakino nursing that Alfa Romeo with wing damage. No, not quite. He'll have that DRS and overtake in full effect. He's so close to the back of this Alfa Romeo at the moment. Cedros isn't too far behind either, so we'll have to keep a look on these two as the yellow fuel light is actually coming on for the Renault. But DRS wide open, not using that overtake. He's going to be side by side into the braking zone, heading into the hairpin stars. The Renault will have the inside line, and Larkino will run wide onto that exit curbing, and that is the Renault up into 8th place, Larkino down into 9th.
Yeah, exactly right. I think the only driver who has listened to me outside the 10 was Aphrodite. He has stayed out of trouble. Obviously, there was that bit of fumble there with the McLarens earlier on, but he has managed to get past, and now he's just got clean air. He's got fresh tyres. I think he's going to do very well at the end of this race. He might even catch Yama at this rate as well. So keep an eye on Astro, but very well raced by him today. Yeah,
definitely no small feat there for the other Renault driver. We saw his teammate go, make up 2 positions within a sector. We're now still looking at that battle for those fringe points. It is old hards versus fresh softs with wing damage. I honestly don't know who's going to come out on top of this one, but Cedros, he will have that DRS. He has a lot of battery left in its reserve, but not a lot of fuel you're seeing. You can see that yellow light there on the bottom right-hand side of your screens. That does mean that he is in the negative on the fuel delta, so he will have to do some saving a little bit. And it keeps flickering on and off stars, which tells me that he is right on the edge of getting to the end of this race fuel-wise.
Yeah, he's definitely on the cusp here. He's going to have to do some fuel saving, but let's have a look at the front of the grid here, Macau. We've got somebody in DRS right now as we start lap 21. He's going to get this move done and dusted very quickly, I do believe.
Yeah, well, before we jump on board with the battle of the lead, we're just going to have a look here at Jay Fasai, currently in 12th place, eyeing up the Ferrari of Zamis. It looks like it's going to be a pretty easy move for the Haas driver, cleanly around the left-hand side of the Ferrari, well before the braking zone, and that is the Haas up into 11th, but he does have that penalty. And as you're saying now, some idiot now on those first softs, he is going to make the move on Rhapsody heading into turn 6, and that is the racing point now into the lead of this race. So very nicely done from him.
That's it. Clean air for some idiot now. Bring the car home. That's what the engineers are telling him. Bring the car home. We don't need any damage. We don't need any risks. You'll be able to pull away through Sector 3. So yeah, it should be done and dusted.
Rhapsody might have something to say about it. He's got a lot more speed than the Racing Point. Does he go for the dive? He's a bit too far back. He's going to go for the dive anyway. Does the Brazilian. Heading into turn 11. Here we go. Forces somebody back out onto the curbing, and he has made it a pass back for the lead at the expense of about 40% of his battery stars. So he definitely wants to hold on to that lead for the end of lap 21 of 28. So only a handful of laps to go as well. But some idiot is looking like he's in a very good spot to take this race. But you can just see the amount of speed, the amount of time he's gaining on this Mercedes through the third sector. Those softs have so much more grip compared to those mediums at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. He's all over the back of him. But the one thing that I do want to mention as well, Summit, it has 2 warnings. Rhapsody 1. So if Rhapsody can try and force him into an error when he tries to overtake and get that 3-second penalty, he might be able to stay within, as Some Idiot goes for the dive into turn 1 there with DRS advantage. They are side by side through turn 2 here, keeping it nice and clean at the moment, as Some Idiot does drift out a little bit wide. He's trying to make the move done on the outside through 3, through 4, does get it done though, and has picked up, Rhapsody has picked up DRS here, so could be on again into turn 6, but I think Rhapsody's going to play the smart play here, save his ERS, and just hopefully have another attack going into turn 11.
Well, that's what it's all about here, using that DRS of turn 6 to get as close as you can. But those older mediums compared to the fresh softs, I'm not quite sure how much grip he's going to have, and somebody has already pulled out about 7 tenths to Rhapsody behind him, and Rhapsody doesn't have the battery to play with any longer, so he will only have the DRS assistance and the fuel. He will gain on the racing point, but it's not going to be enough to make that amazing dive that we saw him make last lap.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Both drivers are quite low. Rhapsody with a little bit more here, but all Rhapsody can hope for now is Some Idiot makes a mistake and gets a corner cut and picks up his first penalty of the race.
And just stay within that 3-second window should that happen. We're going to ride now back on board with Larkino in the Alfa Romeo, currently sitting in 10th place, so not a bad job from him considering all of the mishaps that he has had in this race. Only 1.3 seconds behind Seajoss, losing quite a bit of time actually through the second roundabout. But he is on those fresh softs, so he will be making his way closer and closer to that McLaren with every second. And it looks like Zamis as well is closing up to Jay Fasai. He's using that overtake, he's using the DRS as well now. Is he going to make a dive into turn 11? I don't think so. No, he decides to hold back for the time being, but he is very, very close to the back of this Haas as well, Stars.
Yeah, he is. He's closing in. I believe he got a P10 last week. I ate my own words, so he's obviously going to be pushing for those fringe points again. Hopefully he can get this move done as soon as possible, really, so he can push on through and try and chase down Larkinio, which should get past Seajoss, and then Seajoss on those old hards. He'll be clawing in the seconds a lap on him as he's all over the back of Jay Fasai. Really pushing Jay Fasai around. Is he going to go for a dive into turn 21? Sorry, turn 22? He doesn't. He does pull out of it a little bit. He is going to get DRS through turn 23. Will he make the move into turn 21? He is using overtake. I think he's going to get the move done and does it here. He goes into P11 now. So now it is the Ferrari on a charge. Hopefully he can push as hard as he physically can, not pick up any warnings, and no wing damage. And might be able to sneak into those into that top 10 for that one singular point.
It's a tough ask there from the Ferrari. 9 seconds in what is that, 6 laps? So
the only thing I'm thinking about is maybe Larkinio catches Seajoss. They have a bit of a tangle, maybe lose a couple of seconds. He's on old hards. That's the only thing that's going to help him. So he needs a bit of luck here, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see what makes of that situation. He is already clawing back a little bit of time. Gap is now 8.5, I should say. 8.5 seconds. So he's already taken out half a second, but he needs to be pulling out a fair bit more than that if he wants to have a chance of catching this Alfa Romeo. And looks like the field is very, very spread out at the moment. Currently, it is still that battle. Well, it is still only Jay Fasai in that DRS range of Zamis in the battle for 11th place. Everyone else seems to be pretty spread out at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a very quiet part of the race for now, just the last couple of laps here. Some Idiot has taken out the 3-second lead, so I mean, if he does pick up a penalty now, he should still have this in the bag. I think Astrodite had a bit of a moment because he's lost a lot of time to Yamamoto, so it looks like P5 is going to be his finishing position. But Maxime B is actually closing the gap on old hards. He has been closing, so I don't think Astro has picked up any damage, but he's still closing, and BTFU's closing onto him, so we might have a bit of an interesting battle in the latter end of this race for P5, P6 and P7, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that really could be quite an interesting tangle. BTFU now isn't within that 1 second window, but he has 0 battery, now going up to 10% as he breaks for the hairpin. But Maxime B isn't much better. They're both on the very, very fringes. Well, they all both have very little energy, I should say, in that ERS reserve. And yeah, it looks like BTFU has a decent shot of getting past the McLaren here. With only a handful of laps to go. These guys are coming to the end of lap 24 for them, as Summit has now started lap 25 of 28. So we're almost there. There's only a couple of laps to go now. The BTFU, he's gotten such a better run on those softs. The grip difference is uncomparable. He's going to go up the inside into turn 1. A little bit of a wheel tap there with the McLaren and Maxime. But they're actually still
fighting
inside.
it.
He's fighting it. He is, Stars. He's trying to hold it around the inside of turn 3. It comes the outside of turn 4. And I think BTFU's got that move done. But the DRS overtaken slipstream. It's not going to be enough. BTFU goes defensive to the right-hand side. Maxime looking around the outside, heading into turn 6. BTFU's later on the brakes, though. Takes all of the curbing there. And he is cleanly through for the time being. But with such little battery and with how well Maxime has been driving as of late in these past couple of laps, he might actually get BTFU on this next straight. Well, right on board with McLaren. They're both at 0% battery, Stars. You don't see that very often. Both these drivers at 0.
No.
Both these drivers at 0 now.
Obviously pushing.
Yeah, just the DRS in the slipstream, but Maxime just isn't quite close enough to make that dive. He thought about it. You could see he thought about it, but decided to opt against it.
What was the gap between Zamis and Larkinho?
It was
when
9
he got
seconds
past.
when they passed. It's now, yeah, you're
That's
right.
right.
It's down to 4.
Or with 3 laps to go, will Zamis do it again on the final lap to get that one singular point? This is going to be interesting.
I think he's been given scenario 7 in that Ferrari cockpit. I can tell you that much. He is on a charge and a half.
Okay, Zamis, push.
Yeah, we need to push. We need to push right now. And another driver who needs to push is a BTFU. He is now back in that 1 second gap to Aphrodite. You can see Striffian there on the left-hand side, pulling right out of the way of those coming through. Unfortunately, he is a lap down yet again. You hate to see it, but it sometimes does happen. For BTFU, he is right on the back of Aphrodite, using that DRS to full effect. Let's see how much battery Aphrodite has. Aphrodite does have a bit more battery compared to BTFU, so he might be able to use it to put up a little bit of a defense. But that AlphaTauri is on the hunt. It's got Red Bull blood running through that Honda power unit. And here we go now. BTFU in that AlphaTauri is right on the back of Aphrodite. But Zamis, he picks up a penalty. No, that's the last thing he needed in his pursuit of Larkino. But back in this fight for the 5th place, BTFU cleanly around the left-hand side, finds his braking point nice and easily for the hairpin, and he is now up into 5th. But Aphrodite, knowing him and seeing the battery that he has left, he is not going to give up that 5th place without a fight.
No, that's it. He'll try and keep up with him. It just depends if BTFU has a really, really good final sector on those, the fresher compound of tyre and the better compound. He has pulled out a gap. Aphrodite will stay within DRS though, but I think BT's still going to have a really good first sector and just pull away. So I think P5 is locked up for BT as long as he keeps it clean. No penalties.
Yeah, I think so. He's already pulled out 1.3 second gap to Aphrodite behind him. Maxime as well, he's keeping up, which I'm very, very impressed considering the age of the rubber he's on. So very, very nice driving from the McLaren. But yet again, with 2 laps to go in this race, the entire field is sort of spread out. Maxime B currently is the closest gap on the track, currently 1.1 seconds just outside that DRS range. We'll see if he's able to close back, taking a lot of the curve there at turn 7. Can he find the grip that he needs on those old hards? He's sliding the rear. He actually taps the wall at turn 9, Stars. But 9, oh my goodness, it is so close. Does he get DRS? He has, but he's got 0% battery yet again. So We'll see how powerful the DRS is compared to the ERS. As Astrolite does have a little bit of battery, and he is gaining. But I don't think he's going to be close enough next lap to really make a move. Speaking of someone who is close enough.
Right.
Speaking of someone who is close enough, Zamis, even though he's got that penalty, he has made up the gap. Marquino seems to really be struggling on those softs. And Zamis, he might actually still be able to steal this point if he's able to really push in this final lap of the race.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's going to get the move done on track, but I can't see him beating him at the final standings.
But he isn't able to pass.
No, he stays behind. Like I said, I think he's going to get him though with 1 lap to go for those guys. But moving on to some idiot, couldn't do it last week. Macau, he started last, couldn't get the win. Look at this week, flying.
King there getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but we'll ride on board with your race leader. Somebody there in that Racing Point reserve seat, last to first at Vietnam. What a performance yet again from the reserve driver.
Yeah, definitely right, Macau. This is why he is classified as the leader of the Pirates. Sorry, as Zamis does get the move done on Larkinio there. So, like I said, he will beat him on track. Probably not in the final standings unless Larkinio has an error. We do have a sector.
That's Maxime. Yes. That's Maxime going around. I don't think he'll lose any positions from that. But
he might lose it to Tomahawk, maybe.
He might. Tomahawk is coming very, very quickly. But some idiot will cross the line to take the win in this race. We'll now jump back up on board, and has he got a puncture? He's got a puncture! He's got a puncture. That's what it was.
That's why he spun.
Oh no, he's got a right rear puncture in that McLaren when it was looking so good. He now has to nurse that car home and he's probably going to lose all the points that he gained.
Guess who's making points? Zamis.
Zamis is going to make the points. He's proven you wrong once again. Yes, back to the finishes in this race. So somebody winning the race here in Vietnam from last to first. Rhapsody will come across the line in second place, and S-King will round off the podium places in that AlphaTauri. Yama in fourth, BTFU in fifth, Aphrodite will come across the line in sixth.
Oh, he spun again.
Oh no.
He's spinning it out of every corner. Oh, he's not giving up though. Great to see.
Yeah, you've made it this far. Might as well complete the race. There, Tom Hall coming across the line in seventh. Looks like Sejos will come across in eighth. Has Zamis done enough? Actually, no, he won't. Sejos is out. Sejos has crashed at the last corner before crossing the line. And McLaren...
Maybe he got a puncture.
Maybe. We weren't running on board, so we'll have to look at that post-race. But that means McLaren will score 0 points when they're on for a double points finish halfway through the last lap, Stars. They will score a big fat donut. Oh my goodness, the drama.
Oh dear, what a way to end the race, Mikau. I wouldn't want to be in that debrief room for McLaren after this race, that's for sure. It's not going to be a fun one.
He is probably kicking himself right now. They make it all the way through. Last corner of the last lap. Easy points, and they've lost it, but some idiot. What a drive from last to first. Absolute stellar performance. He made up like, what was it, 9 positions in that first lap?
Yeah, first lap made up 9 positions. Obviously all the drama that happened in the first corner there. He managed to sneak his way through like a little slippery snake, and yeah, obviously done it today. Done what he couldn't do last week. Obviously gets fastest lap as well. I think it was a 35.9, so just a class performance there by some idiot. Well done.
Yeah, very, very nicely done indeed. So somebody is your race winner with that fastest lap point as well, at 1:35.904. And he will take 26 points for the Pirates away from all the teams here today. Rhapsody in that second place, that runner-up spot. Stays second actually as well. So he's able to convert some nice points there for Mercedes, and S-King will round off the podium there in third. Yama in fourth, BTFU fifth, Aphrodite and Tomahawk in 6th and 7th with the 2 Renault guys. Larkino in 8th. Zamis in 9th, picking up 2 points for the Scuderia. And Max Senna will round off the points finishers in 10th position. Jay Forsyth started 11th, stays 11th, couldn't really make that strategy work. He had some nice moves though through the race. Then we have three Canadians there: Holt, Maxime, and Cappy, 12th, 13th, and 14th respectively. Joss in 15th there, throwing away points at the last corner. Definitely is going to be kicking himself for that one. Gorziek in 16th, and Stryfium is the last of those who were classified in this one, with Mark Speed and Sidoros for Racing Point and Williams respectively not finishing this race, which you hate to see, Stars.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to see any DNFs. Unfortunately, though, we do. Well, the streets of Hanoi claim two drivers, but it is what it is. Apart from that, it was a great race. I have just gotten word on the radio that Sejos doesn't believe he had a puncture. He thinks he might have just lost it on those old. I think there was 16 or 17 lap old hards. So that's unfortunate to see on his end. That's for sure. Hopefully, he bounces back next week, and the McLaren boys can really show what they got, because they had a lot of potential today. Unfortunately, they couldn't finish it. They couldn't do the full 28. They did 27 laps, couldn't do the full 28 though. So next week they move on and hopefully have a better result. But yeah, some idiot, what a drive once again. He's a man on a mission for those Pirates, that's for sure. S King, BTFU, our boys, Alpha Tauris, got up there again. Rhapsody though, another stellar performance. I feel like Rhapsody at the moment is just acting very, very clinical this season. Little mistakes and it just shows. So another P2 for him. So well done to Rhapsody.
Yeah, very, very nicely done indeed. We'll just wait a couple more moments to see if we're going to have any interviews. I do see our race winner there in that interview waiting room, but waiting to see if we're able to hear from the other two podium finishers. But quite an interesting race, Stars, this one. I'm not quite sure, we saw a couple of bits of action on track, obviously lap one, then seeing the safety car. Well, we actually didn't see a safety car. We saw lots of spins, lots of wing damage, but no safety cars in this one. And that makes it two races, I believe, without a safety car. So maybe these guys are taking a little bit easier around the streets of Hanoi compared to previous races.
Yeah, 100% there, Mikhail. I think at the end of the day, we expect safety cars. We do, especially around Hanoi, that's for sure. Uh, the drivers obviously try and keep it a little bit cleaner as much as they can. I think there should have been a safety car outside turn 12 there, as we did see, but obviously it was in a safe enough spot right on the racing line. So good to see that. I think at the end of the day, the drivers understand that there's no point in just throwing the car around and just damaging and potentially damaging someone else's race. They're trying to keep it a lot cleaner, and it's great to see. It's great to see some clean driving, some heavy battles. Obviously, the optimal strategy there was medium softs, Aphrodite. Proved that well. Obviously, some idiot as well. Both did work quite well on that strategy. Um, but yeah, it's tricky when there are no safety cars. There's no VSCs. You have to manage your tires. It just comes down to that. It's very, very difficult. So yeah, it'll be interesting as we move on to next week. Very tire heavy track, so interesting to see if the drivers can do the same once again.
Yes, but unfortunately, it looks like we will only have one interview, but thankfully, it is our race winner, Some Idiot, leader of the Pirates. You've done it again, sir, and actually completed the last of first challenge this time. How was that race for you?
That was pretty good. That's all I could ask for, basically. There's maybe one or two things in lap one, but I mean, otherwise, that was exactly what I envisioned for the race going in. That's just the power of the counter strategy, Mikal.
Yeah, so just run us through that lap one, because you made up a lot of positions and we saw quite a lot of jostling for positions there through that first sector. So just run us through, what was going through your mind, what was going through, your hands, your feet on the steering wheel and pedals, of course. Just
Yes,
through
sir.
the first sector of the first lap, because it was pretty chaotic from what we saw on the stream.
So I was just trying to position myself in a way where if people were going to have incidents, I could basically just nope out of there. Like if people were starting to spin to the inside or the outside, I could just basically give myself room, both outside or inside, because I was seeing turn one starts here. They've been messy. So I basically made that a target of myself, is to just give myself the most amount of freedom as possible to make escaping moves. But thankfully everything went fairly straightforward for where I was on the track. There were a few people who spun in the first opening corners, but I was just trying to dart my way through as best I could. The mediums were really good to start with. Like that's the mediums are just really. That's why the counter strategy is so good. Is the medium just hangs on very well. It's up to pace pretty quickly, and like I was just able to make moves on those tires. That's the biggest thing. And then I think I got up to, I think it was 11th or 12th by the end of lap one. I had some contact in the hairpin. I got a warning for that, but just trying to basically put myself in the position to be able to make moves. That's what I was trying to do in the opening stint, is to get through the traffic as quickly as possible, lose as little time as possible to the people up front, and I was able to put myself in that position to make the counter strategy work.
Well, that's all from me. Stars, you have any questions for some idiot this evening?
No, you wrapped it up. I was just only going to ask one question, but you already asked that one. So, some idiot, well done today. Good drive, mate. Push on for the Pirates next week, eh?
Yes, sir. Well, we'll see if this is see if I get to race here a couple in Americas a couple more times. We'll see. We'll see. I've been. I might have to saunter my way over to tier one. Is what I'm being told. But that's story for another time. Thank you guys for having me.
No worries.
Thanks,
and
mate.
Congratulations again. Well, that is about everything. Stars, you have any closing comments before we wrap up the stream here this evening?
No, not all. Just thank you everyone for tuning in. What a great race that was, though. Honestly, street circuits never disappoint, and it was a great race. So, looking forward to next week. That's for sure, Mikhail.
Yes, next week we will be around the Shanghai International Circuit for the Chinese Grand Prix. And be sure to tune in tomorrow for the next Vietnamese Grand Prix. It is, of course, the Tier 2 guys racing at 9 p.m. Central Europe, 8 p.m. for those in the UK, and 3 p.m. those on the east coast of the of the Americas. And yeah, that's all from me. A big thank you to our partners, Next Level Racing, as well. Exclamation mark NLR in the chat. And if you guys are looking for a nice racing community there, exclamation mark Discord there. Lovely community, lots of fun. Just a place to chill, hang out, and talk about all things racing. But Stars, I believe that is all the time that we have for this evening, and we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.